Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Je m'appelle Ricardo Martinez. Moi, je parle un peu français, mais mon français c'est pas très bon. C'est pour ça que je vais faire la présentation en anglais. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Ricardo Martinez. I'm the founder of Catroom. And today we're going to present one of the services that Catroom provides is Movatrix. Movatrix is a storage transfer and synchronization across cloud providers. In Catroom, we're trying to promote a multi-cloud architecture among companies. We have found that there's a strong need for a multi-cloud architecture approach. 92% of the companies right now are considering not working with just one cloud provider. They want to work with more than one cloud provider. Now, this is going to become the new normal. And it's quite logical, you know. If you only were working with just one bank, you just don't put all your eggs in just one nest. So having a multi-cloud architecture is going to bring a lot of benefits for a lot of companies. Now, when I have spoken with CEOs and CTOs about a multi-cloud architecture, it makes sense. You know, they wanted that architecture. But when I speak with developers, it's not so great for them. The amount of time that we have to invest just learning, you know, all the details of AWS or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud is daunting. And now trying to learn a new API system, a new web console brings a lot of effort for the developers. So in Catroom, we try to give them tools to simplify that process. Common situation that we have found is that why do we need to have a multi-cloud approach? Well, the first situation that we have found is human errors, especially in cloud storage. Cloud storage is quite secure in every single cloud provider that we have worked with. Even big ones or not so big ones, they're quite secure. Our experience with Wasabi, with Yonos, with Scaleway, with Linode is flawless. We have worked with them for several years, and there's no problem, you know, with the storage. The main problem comes with humans. And now the AI is actually writing code. A lot of code is going out without supervision. And you have no idea when a script that's supposed to delete 10 files is going to delete 10,000 files. And that has happened in the past, and that is going to happen again. So what do we do, developers, what do we do to make sure that on a delete statement on a SQL script, we're quite secure? We have backups. So having a backup of your files, of your documents in several cloud providers is a great option. Now, how do we do that? We recommend a two-step process, but let's continue a little bit with some other situations. The company might need also a different delivery system, and very important, especially for CTOs, the amount of cost that cloud providers can have. It's very normal for every single person that has worked with cloud providers to be a little stressful about the bill because it's not predictable. And in cloud storage, it's also the case. It's very, very clear how much it's going to cost you the storage. It's not ever very clear about how much it's going to cost you the bandwidth. So if you're the CTO, if you're the one paying the bills of the cloud storage, you might be in a lot of stress because you never know, you know, how much the bill is going to come. And in times where money has been quite, you know, available for all of us, you know, you don't care too much about optimizing the cost of your cloud providers. But when times comes, you know, where the money is not that available, you might want to have an option about how to deal with, still be able to give the services to your customers, your content, but be cost effective on that as well. So that's why multi-cloud architecture might be a good option for you as well. So going specifically about Movatrix, we're high-speed transfer and synchronization. I want to have emphasis on the high speed. something that we have developed is a parallel system. You're going to see a demo about that. That's going to allow you to transfer huge amounts of data in a very short amount of time. So that will reduce very much the downtime. About us, Movatrix founded this year, 2025. Catron was founded 2022. And again, we're very much into avoiding vendor locks. So we offer speed to scale. It's fully managed. So you don't have to do anything. The service implement everything inside. I want to go directly into the demo because this presentation is quite short. So first of all, we offer over 22 different cloud providers, including the big ones like AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, but we also work very much with Oracle and IBM. And also we have support for almost every single vendor here in Europe as well. Most of them implement the S3 protocol, makes easier for us, to scale the application among all of them. But if some of them still use FTP, it's very much not used very much anymore. But we still provide support for FTP and some other protocols that you might want to have, especially for those kind of scenarios when you want to have an hybrid cloud. Now, we have a case study. This is one of the companies that start working with us. This is an ad tracking company. They record every single TV station, every single hour, and they need to store all those videos on the cloud. So this company, they generate 500,000 files. That's what they need to have in storage. Every single file is around 300 megabytes, so they have 148 terabytes of storage. And that's the easy part for them. The problem mostly was because of those videos are being downloaded at least 3 times per month. They had a bandwidth of 74 terabytes per month. So for this company, they were working with AWS. They were having $40,000 per year in storage cost. They were spending $80,000 per year in bandwidth. So they were spending $120,000 per year just in cloud storage. So they decided, again, we don't recommend any cloud provider. We just provide the tool. And they decided to go with companies Wasabi. And they want to have 2 copies of every single file. They still want to have AWS, but instead of working with AWS as a main provider of the content, they switched to a different provider, in this case Wasabi. And what they did is that they did a transfer all the files first, and then they implement a synchronization system between Wasabi and AWS going to Glacier Instant Retrieval. So doing that, they reduced the storage cost from $40,000 per year, $39,000, to $12,000. Then the storage in AWS was reduced to $6,000 because of the Glacier cost is quite cheap. And since this company does not charge for bandwidth, their bandwidth cost went completely to zero. So, and they have recurrent costs with us because, of course, we provide the transfer system of $11,000 per year. So that meant for them a reduction of 75% on their storage costs, and now they have 2 copies of every single file. So this is a solution for them where they were able to reduce the cost and they were able to have more redundancy on the system. So how do you achieve that? So we have an application on our website. And it's a video because internet can always fail. Please apologize for not doing that live. And the application, is meant to have jobs for transfer the system. So basically, you have a list of the jobs that you want to perform. It's quite easy to select the cloud provider. Among the cloud providers is based on the number of credentials that the customer can have. They can have any amount of credentials. They select the source, then they select the target. It's quite easy, honestly. Once they have done that, the system is going to ask them for the bucket name. It's very important to mention that if the bucket does not exist, the system is not going to proceed. The developer needs to know what the bucket he needs to transfer. Now, you'll see that also the system allows for a prefix. That means that maybe I don't want to transfer the whole bucket, just a subset of that. So I just set a string to let them know which files need to be transferred. And then the first step that we do now is that we scan the bucket. Now, this is a very important step because having 1 terabyte in 1,000 files is not the same as having 1 terabyte in 1,000,000 files. The size of the files is very important to estimate the amount of time that it's going to take and the amount of resources that you're going to need to be able to transfer all those files. So the scan system is going to do that on the source and also is going to do that on the target. That way the system is going to know which files to transfer. It's very important to notice that Movatrix does not delete any file. Always the delete operation has to be done manually by the developer. The system is going to be always forward, copying files from one place to another. Once the scan has been complete, of course, I'm doing a very small example, for time purposes. This example is going to move only 1,000 files with 26 gigabytes. The system is going to give the user, is going to give you several options about how many workers you want to have to execute this job. And this is going to give you the speed, the time it's going to take to do the transfer. So the system, based on the size, for this kind of scenario, it proposed a maximum of 8 workers. But for example, for 10 terabytes, you can go to 400 workers. I mean, it tries to give you the options for that. So once you have selected the option, basically you just click on Start Transfer. And what the system is doing right now, this is very interesting, important, is that it's configuring the infrastructure. So we don't have any servers online doing the job, waiting for the jobs to be done. Every single job is going to spin off instances, and it's going to use those instances to run in parallel. The system is going to split the files, and then it's going to assign to each instance the amount of files that need to be transferred. That's how the parallel system works. And it's going to set up all the networking. And once the job is finished, all those instances are deleted. Now, where are those instances installed? For example, if you transfer from AWS to Yonos, for example, the instances are going to be located in Yonos because the upload speed is going to be faster. Now, if you transfer to Cloudflare or Wasabi, that they don't offer compute, we decide in which cloud provider is more convenient to do so. We try to select some server or provider is closer. Now, once the system has started, well, you see a progress bar. It's going to give you insight. Of course, the system knows, you saw the map, from which server is going to where. It's going to calculate that as well to be able to give you information about how much time it's going to take. And you can see progress in real time. Now, we don't want you to stay in this page, all the time. So you can go back and do something else. And what I did is that, because it's going to take a few minutes, I want to show you how you can schedule this to be a recurring job. So after you have done this step, you might want to continue doing that periodically. So this is the way you can schedule jobs. Basically, it's very similar. You set the source, and you set the bucket that you want to use as well. You put a name on it. And what this system does, and that's one of our core business, is that every new file that is coming into the source is going to be copied constantly. What we're trying to give developers is less work. They don't have to be worried about backups. The system is going to manually execute that in real time. Now, this is a great step. For example, if you want to switch the traffic from one cloud provider and now use a different cloud provider, this is a great step to start. You synchronize everything, so you always have 2 copies of your files, and then you put the synchronization in reverse. So now the traffic is coming to a different cloud provider and it's having the copy on the original one. So it's quite flexible. Now, for those who know cron in Linux, that's the format that we use for establish the system. If you don't know that much, well, this is going to offer some options as well, so it's going to be easy for any kind of user. And then you just schedule the job. This one I decided to run daily at 2 a.m. London time. So you'll see that on this page, we can see all the jobs that are scheduled to be running. On the runs, it's going to tell you, how many times the system has run correctly and how many times has failed, and you can see a detail of that as well. So as you can see, it's quite easy, to transfer large amount of data between different cloud providers. Now let's go back to our job, the job that we were just doing. So we just click on the jobs. Oh, okay, there it is. So, and then you can see it's still working. Now it's at 25%. I'm going to speed up this so it goes faster. How long does it take? Well, it all depends on the amount of data that you're going to transfer and the amount of workers that you are using. But we have designed Movatrix to be scalable. So please don't worry about the size. The system is going to be able. So if you're a cloud provider, for example, and you have a customer that you want to bring to your cloud, and you already are set up with compute, of course you're going to need to bring storage as well to reduce the cost of bandwidth. There is no problem. You just scale all the workers that you might need, and you can move them, all the files in a very, very short amount of time. Limitations, up to now, we have been able to fulfill every single request that has been given to us. Cost-wise, it's almost 4 cents per gigabyte at the highest speed. That's what we charge for this kind of a service. That's quite normal in this kind of business. So once it is finished, well, you have a summary of the job that has been done, and then you can go back and see all the things that are available for you. So this is an example. If you want to move 250 terabytes by yourself, with just one instance, it would take you 84 days just to transfer that. Now, if you use a parallel system like ours, you can do that in 50 hours. 250 terabytes is a very large data set. This is a very extreme example, but our calculation, just to give you an idea of the size of the parallel system that we offer. Things that you might be asking: why move my files? Well, remember, not necessarily move. We're not exactly recommending that you switch cloud providers per se. Our recommendations always try to use more than one cloud provider. Second, well, why don't I do it myself with a cloud engineer? Well, we have this saying in the company, you don't hire FedEx to build your logistic, you just use FedEx. So we think that it's better for your company to rely these kind of services with companies that specialize on that. Remember, if you do this in-house, it's very, very intensive, and it might be slow. Even with AI, the testing that has to be done is quite elevated. We have to test every single cloud provider. They all implement S3, but they have their regions, the endpoints, everything. For example, Oracle, they have a namespace. Google is completely different. So you need to test everything. So we're very good at that. And well, merci beaucoup. Nous avons, c'est un mot que c'est nouveau pour moi aujourd'hui, c'est un tirage. Et nous avons un tirage, je vais appeler à Sophie et elle va faire le tirage. Nous avons, Dylan, can you please bring, for you guys, thank you very much for coming. We have a little treat for you.